Have his way in good soul. When you understand that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is not the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, but is the Church of Lucifer, with the inverted pentagram on the keystone of the Salt Lake Temple, with the inverted pentagram on the Eagle Gate, with the inverted pentagram put on the Nauvoo Temple after the assassination of Joseph Smith, dedicated on the anniversary of the Illuminati, which resurrected the inverted pentagram as their symbol with Lucifer as their god, from Isaiah, that defines it. When you look at the homepage of the church's website and you read the top one that says, "This Easter, find more peace and joy through Jesus Christ," and then you see a different Jesus painting than Mormons are used to seeing, because we all know which Mormon painting is the right Jesus, right? Experience Handel's Messiah with the Tabernacle Choir, March 26th. And then join us. Celebrate Jesus Christ at an Easter General Conference. Let me read to you from the Book of Mormon. I know it. The learning of the Jews, language of the Egyptians. 1 Nephi chapter 1 verse 2. Do the Jews celebrate Easter? No. The Jews don't believe in Jesus, because Jesus failed. Just like all the other messiahs during the Roman period. Masada, you may remember that tragic story, how the Romans slaughtered them. But yeah, that was led by a Messiah. Bar Kokhba, another Messiah who led them into the desert, and they died. Yeah, the Messiah that the Jews are looking for has not come yet. And yet, here it is, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints with the Book of Mormon, which is supposed to be the keystone of our religion, which says that we're supposed to be the learning of the Jews, is saying that this failed gospel Roman period Jesus is true, and that he has supernatural magical powers, just like the definition of a cult, which differs from a cult. I had to ask Exmo Lex today. She did a video today, again reminding her audience that the church is a cult. And I had to ask her, trying to be nice as I can, making sure that I don't word things in a manner that could be misinterpreted as mean. But ask her, do you know the definition of an occult? See, the church believes in the supernatural Jesus, even though they claim that he's not the Trinity. He's a separate, distinct, physical personage. He just can defy the laws of physics. And Mormons have turned Moroni, chapter 4 through 5, into a spiritual witness in violation of the scientific agricultural process of faith described in detail in Alma chapter 32, starting in verse 28. And of course, the inverted pentagram behind everything. The church has put a wall up so that only those who have been sealed and are out there with the photos get to see it now. Why would they put a wall up? To hide the inverted pentagram. Are they ashamed of the gospel of Lucifer Christ? I mean, we're in America. People have the right to religious freedom. If they want to be called the Church of Lucifer, they can do it. They may have to decide if it's the Church of Lucifer, because there might already be a religion with that name, and so they'll have to figure out a different name, maybe Lucifer Christ, of Latter-day Saints, demons. But, yeah, you can see how the church is perpetuating the lie to Mormons. Easter, Jesus, Handel's Messiah, from Isaiah, which was not Christian. Isaiah is not a Christian. He did not believe in Trinity. But what Mormons do not know is that this year, Palm Sunday and Passover start together. So that they're saying celebrate Jesus at an Easter General Conference. The church always leaves out Passover whenever conference is during Passover. And this conference is no exception. It's being held during Passover of the Jews. You do know what an anti-Semite is, right? Someone who commits hate crimes against Jews. Now, technically, Jews are Egyptian, not Babylonian, so that's actually an anti-Hamido. It's still a hate crime. But the church are white supremacists. That's Lucifer. Lucifer's a white supremacist. And so the fake Christian Christ is who white supremacists embrace, because it feeds into the delusions. The Christ will never be known and seen because he's supernatural. Mortal men are not capable of comprehending, let alone being in the presence of a supernatural being. And so they shouldn't even be able to comprehend that they can't comprehend. But again, once the delusion cycle commences, it's tough to pull out. They don't celebrate Joseph Smith. They don't celebrate Passover. And if you're unfamiliar with Passover, because the church has kept this from us, it's from the Exodus, which bears the name of the book of Exodus, where Moses, the Messiah of all Messiahs for the Jews, stands up to Pharaoh and says, "Let my people go." Pharaoh then increases the burdens on the house of Israel. There are some displays of who is the rightful ruler over Egypt. You thought the water turning to blood was a real thing, and you have scientists trying to figure out how to do it. It's the inundation of the Nile. The red soil gets carried down with the flood, making the water look red. You thought Moses parting the Red Sea instead of the Reed Sea from the Hebrew text was real. You're looking for some kind of volcanic tsunami that allowed them to walk on mud land. It can't be dry yet. It takes some time to dry up land that's been soaking in water. No, that comes from Genesis chapter 1. The waters separated, the dry land appeared. But stars falling from the heavens, fire falling from the sky, 3 days of darkness, sun shall be darkened. A virus. Joseph Smith calls it a desolating sickness. DNC 4531. It was the virus that resulted in the Exodus. And we are 3,333 years, according to the Jewish calendar, from the Exodus that they designated for it. Where the last days mortal Moses Messiah, man like Moses, for the learning of the Jews, is supposed to be here. It's supposed to be Nelson, because Joseph Smith was a Messiah. And Mormons don't know this. Joseph Smith's intention was to start the ball rolling in preparation for the latter-day Mormon, man like Moses Messiah. But he was assassinated. And nobody chose to follow his organization other than Sidney Rigdon. But he kept the name, the Church of Christ. It literally was called after Joseph Smith. Joseph Smith is the Christ, and thus it was the Church of Christ. So when you read in the Book of Mormon, if it be called under Moses' name, then it is Moses' church. If it be called under some other name, then it is their church. Joseph Smith called it in his name. He's the Christ. But Brigham Young changed it, and so now it's the Church of Jesus Christ, a being who does not exist. The Gospels are apocalyptic literature for the last days. And the church is perpetuating the fraud when it's supposed to be Nelson, because these are the last days. The signs in the heavens are dates. It's now. Nelson's supposed to be the guy, and he can't even translate Hebrew. Let God prevail. God. So yeah, the Book of Mormon warns of destruction, entire destruction of the people. It's just truly sad to watch as I am helpless to do anything to stop it. as Mormons continue their brainwashing cycle of delusion. Spiritual witness creates their reality, which enhances the spiritual witness that it's true, which and now they're even deceiving by saying a timeline in the church news, church news. Timeline, how the church has responded to the global Corona-19 pandemic. Well, I can tell you, I've been telling you through the whole time. I was screaming, shut the church down. They wouldn't. They were slow. They waited for Herbert. Herbert finally did it. They waited until the virus was escalated to a certain level in the yellow. Then they sort of shut it down. It was, your free agency to choose whether you wanted to go to work or not. Still not mask mandate per se. It was, again, a choice. But they're now rewriting history. That the church was all along concerned about the safety of Mormons, when the reality is we still have a pandemic. It's still called a pandemic, and the church is open. Every Monday, they do their updates, the latest news on temple reopenings, 15th of March. That was the latest one. And they deceive you with a rewritten timeline, just like they rewrote church history. All Mormons know Lucifer is evil, but Mormons don't know it when they see it, when they're in it, when they're doing it. And that's scary, because I know what's coming. Book of Mormon tells us what's coming. Destruction. And the church is feeding the fire. They're inciting Mormons to hate, inciting Mormons to violence, demanding to burn the masks, demanding to have our lives back, while the pandemic still rages. That was Pharaoh, not Moses. That was the false Messiah, not the true Messiah. And Mormons don't see it, because their delusions won't let them. You can quote scripture to them, and they do not interpret English the same. Words have new meaning. They purposely manifest the truth from their minds. And if you're a Mormon and you're wondering, where's manifest the truth? Exactly. Moroni chapter 10, verse 4. You call it a spiritual witness instead. I finish by quoting Moroni, or even Mormon. I'm not going to bother. Mormons don't listen.